Hello and welcome to Bottom Line. Well, Northeast's COVID woes continue to rise. Cases being reported from several states. Assam total cases have gone up to 514. Active cases stand at 445 and 122 COVID cases reported since the morning today. All cases, of course, reported from quarantine centers. In Manipur, meanwhile, the total cases have gone up to 36. Active cases are 34. 4 persons have tested positive today. 1 case each in Churachandpur, Noni, Kangpokpi and Senapati districts. In Nagaland, 3 cases were reported today. 1 test positive in Kohima, 2 from Dimapur. All of them, of course, had returned from Chennai. So returnees continue to test positive. Assam, the biggest single-day spike, 122 cases in a day. That is what we are going to discuss today. Besides, we'll also discuss the constant attack on trains to Northeast. Yesterday we had an incident. Today also reports are coming in that a Manipur-bound train on the way from Goa was also pelted stones upon at Uttar Pradesh and in Bihar. Of course, we'll come to that later. But right now, I'm being joined over the phone by Northeast Live Editor-in-Chief Wasbir Hussain. Wasbir, 122 cases in a day. The number game is changing. It's over 100 now. It's over 100 now in a day. Things are changing dramatically, and it is a serious situation, Wasbir.
Yes, absolutely, Nabarun. Things are changing rapidly, and if this trend continues, then sooner than later, we will have tremendous pressure on the health infrastructure in the state. That is a serious cause of worry. Now, already the milestone, we have crossed the 500 mark, the number of positive cases in the state. Even the number of active cases are fast approaching 500. So that is in Assam. And in today, all the northeastern states, people who have been returning home, there are cases of people testing COVID positive. So there is not a single state in the entire northeastern region, 8 states, which is COVID-free today. So in this background, I think the health authorities have a lot to worry about. And let's take the case of Assam. We have a tremendous pressure on quarantine facilities now, and everybody who is coming from outside have to go through a mandatory quarantine process. And now with domestic travel resuming, domestic air travel resuming, the pressure will only increase. So that is the backdrop, Nabarun. I think very soon, I think there will be tremendous pressure. And of course, the beds for COVID-positive patients, exclusive COVID wards, there are still several thousand beds available. I think we have a total capacity of between 4,000 to 5,000. But if the trend continues like this, sooner than later, I think there will be pressure on that. Therefore, a lot of options are being considered. And if we have time, we'll talk about that, number one.
Of course, Wasbir, but the Assam government especially probably wants to finish off with the task as far as returnees are concerned. Assam wants to bring in as many people as possible because deferring it may again mean that maybe we can stop people from returning for a month or 2. But again, the crisis will arise 2 months later and it will linger. So that is probably the idea why Assam has so far not officially tried to restrict the entry or regulate the entry further, unlike say what Manipur is doing. And that is also maybe right in a way because as we have seen, when the lockdown began, people were stopped from traveling, and now there was a certain lull for a month and a half. But again, now that people have started traveling, the cases have emerged. Similar thing may happen if we again stop people from coming in for a month, but they will eventually come and the cases will eventually rise. Probably that is the idea.
Well, you see, now there is an estimated 12 lakh people, 10 to 12 lakh people who are, either working, studying in different parts of the country. That is the government estimate, 10 to 12 lakh, out of which only about 1 lakh people have returned so far. If we assume that 10 lakh more are returning, the government has no way other than allowing people to come in. But actually, technically speaking, from humanitarian grounds, you cannot stop anybody from returning home. But the idea of doing around, the government is also toying with the idea of trying to persuade, trying to defer the people to return, if necessary, by paying allowances, additional allowances, at least for those people who do not require to actually come back and who want to come back only because they are facing financial difficulties. At least for this section of people, the government is thinking of extending or enhancing the financial allowance. But right now, the Assam government has been paying 2,000 rupees, and I think they have paid 2 installments. But that is not enough to sustain people elsewhere in the country. Outside their homes, 2,000 rupees is difficult. I think at this point, the central government also should chip in, perhaps, if that is the strategy. But as you said, that strategy may or may not hold good, because people, at the end of the day, if the lockdown continues, if normal life do not resume, if educational institutions do not resume, if they lose their jobs outside, I think they would definitely like to come back home. And now you see, the Civil Aviation Minister Hardeep Puri has said that no quarantine is necessary for domestic air travelers. But at the end of the day, states do not want to take chances, and Assam is one of them. And Assam has made it mandatory for all the air passengers to disembark at Guwahati and other airports in the state and go for that mandatory quarantining. And the pressure is already being felt, because all the hotels in Guwahati are absolutely booked, and now the people will have to, those who are quarantined will have to stay in various school and educational institution hostels, which the government have requisitioned for the purpose, and some of the education institutions that were, of course, voluntarily offered their facilities. So this is the backdrop. Number one, what I'm saying is that while there are two-pronged difficulties for the government: one, quarantine accommodation, sufficient quarantine accommodation, and number two, the number of COVID beds which will be available in the state, already with the active cases touching 500. But yet, and also at the same time, people in batches are also getting released after getting recovered from COVID. But the number of people, who are tested positive is much more than the number of people recovered. So the pressure on the health authorities in Assam and the rest of the Northeast is only going to continue or bound to increase in the days ahead.
Absolutely, Wasbir. Thank you so much for your perspective on that. To continue the discussion, I have on my panel today Arunachal MP Tapir Gao, former Meghalaya Minister Amparin Lingdo, Arunachal Pradesh Health Secretary P. Parthiban will also be joining me from Itanagar. John Kharsing, Chairman Grand Council of Chiefs, will join us from Shillong, and we'll also connect over the phone with Robin Hibu, Special Commissioner, Delhi Police. But before that, I would like to go to Dr. Prakatish Bora of Excel Care Hospital, Guwahati. Dr. Bora, just one question. The number of cases in Assam has gone well past the 100 mark in a day, 122. Do you think it's time private hospitals also start taking all sort of precautions? Because a time may soon come when you have to treat every case, every patient with suspicion. Dr. Bora.
Okay. See, we have been anticipating this situation, that a situation like this might come, because most of the experts had said the peak of COVID-19 will probably hit India around June, July, August. So we were prepared till the month of September, for this to go on and maybe increase. But the sudden rise in the last few days, and today especially, it has probably gone to about 122 new cases in a day, is quite alarming. And we are more worried about the number of asymptomatic cases that we might actually see in private hospitals, because what the screening that we are doing and the precautionary measures that we are taking may not be enough to contain this disease. So yes, there's a serious concern among the private hospitals as well. Now that we are seeing regular patients, but then again, if the regular patient is an asymptomatic carrier of COVID, that cannot be ascertained, and that remains a threat to the population. But in terms of also the concern is about seeing patients with people who have symptoms, who will present without fever, without cough, atypical symptoms. They will also pose a threat for spreading of this virus. So these are the few concerns that we have, and we do not really have proper laid down criteria how to deal with these patients.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Dr. Bora, for your perspective on that. Well, apart from the COVID-19 woes rising, also Yesterday, a train coming to Assam carrying people from across the northeast was attacked in Bihar. Reports came in today that another train coming from Goa to Manipur was also attacked. There is something that has also increased the concern at a time when the stranded people from northeast are coming home every day, taking these Shramik trains. Is the security enough in such trains, and how to go about things, how to ensure that the people from northeast who are coming from outside are safe when they do so? Well, I'm being joined from Arunachal by BJP MP Tapir Gao. Amparin Lingdo, former Meghalaya minister, also joins me from Shillong. If I can go to Tapir Gao first. Mr. Gao, welcome to Bottom Line. Trains to northeast have been attacked for 2 days in a row. First the train to Assam yesterday. Today reports came in that the Goa-Manipur train was pelted stones upon in UP and Bihar. We definitely understand here that there are desperate migrants along the route, and they are desperate. But shouldn't the railways have had anticipated that this kind of situation may arise?
ये अनफॉर्चुनेट इंसिडेंट है एंड रेलवे दे शुड एप्रीहेंड ऐसे भी सिचुएशन आएगा तो इसलिए फ्रॉम आवर साइड state government side also from almost all northeast states I could contact through our northeast MPs front तो हर स्टेट से ये इंफॉर्मेशन रेलवे तक पहुंचाया है एंड रेलवे पुलिस along with the civil police in UP and in Bihar, West Bengal, ये सब अभी सिक्योरिटी दे रहा है जो भी हुआ अनफॉर्चुनेट इंसिडेंट है एंड फ्यूचर में जो भी आएंगे ऐसे होने नहीं देना है रेलवे शुड टेक प्रिकॉशन एंड रेलवे पुलिस शुड टेक note of it seriously for the people of northeastern states. तो फ्यूचर में ऐसा नहीं होना है इसके लिए हम लोग प्रिवेंटिव मेजर लेना चाहिए.
But Tapir Gao ji, वो ठीक है, but since states are booking trains for their people, nodal officers को शायद they should be doing more coordination both security wise and otherwise. What do you think?
ना इसमें से let us take example of my state Arunachal Pradesh. We have got nodal officers against each and every state of the country, and they are working hard. लेकिन स्टेट में बैठ के टेलीफोन से मेल से जो कनेक्टिविटी हो रहा है इससे तो सफिशिएंट और फुलफिल तो होगा नहीं लेकिन दे आर ट्राइंग देयर लेवल बेस्ड एंड they are able to communicate the state concern in every state and for Northeast many states have brought by bus by train of course as flight जो आना था वो कैंसिल हो गया it is unfortunate ये धीरे धीरे होगा क्योंकि ये COVID-19 जो है it is unexpected experience that the people of the country and the as a whole the world is facing. तो इसलिए ट्रायल एंड एरर मेथड में कहीं ना कहीं करेक्शन हो जाएगा तो एवरी इंसिडेंट डेली होगा ये हम लोग को एक्सपेक्ट नहीं करना चाहिए तो नॉर्थ ईस्ट स्टेट्स गवर्नमेंट्स आर आल्सो वर्किंग हार्ड कम्युनिकेटिंग एवरी स्टेट इन द कंट्री हमारा जितना स्टैंडर्ड सिटीजन्स है स्टूडेंट्स है slowly pace wise they are coming इतना ये है कि जितना हमारा नॉर्थ ईस्ट से आए हुए जितना स्टैंडर्ड सिटीजन्स है डिस्टेंस मेंटेन करना चाहिए मास्क यूज करना चाहिए जो भी एसओपीस है उस गाइडलाइन के आधार पे हर सिटीजन सीरियसली लेना चाहिए क्योंकि we have to live with this COVID.
Okay, well, we'll come to Amparan Lindo, but there's an earthquake right now as we witness. The buildings are still shaking. That's the breaking news at this point. As we speak, there are tremors still being felt. Tremors still being felt across the region, right here in Guwahati. Tremors still being felt here. Quite strong tremors, but it's earthquake rocks Guwahati as we speak. The tremor going on here. And we are also reports coming in from Imphal, Shillong, everywhere. Earthquake lasting for seconds. But we'll have to go. We'll have to carry the discussion. We'll have to go to Amparin Lingdo, who is joining us from Shillong. Amparin Lingdo, we have a number of stranded people from Northeast coming from outside. Trains were attacked. A wake-up call really for the railways and even for the respective state governments.
Yes, I would agree totally with that. Because you see, the SOS call that I received the other morning was about 5:30 in the morning. And I happened to know somebody who was traveling on that train. And the way they were relating the incidences that unfurled so suddenly was very worrisome. Very worrisome kind of a situation, because on the one hand, you are trying to provide a safe passage for your people to come back to their state after 2+ months of anyways a very tough ordeal. And then when you put them on a train, this is what happens. So, see, there are two sides to this I can see it. First side is the fact that it's sad that we are taking care of our people, but then there are so many other migrant workers from different states where I don't know why no one's taking care of them. You know, the way they are being disowned is very worrisome. So they become very, very aggressive and angry and restless. And it is but natural for them to stop any passing by train and to try and board it and to try and forcefully find a passage home. So I don't know what's happening. It's all very worrisome. And I saw the video myself where I actually saw the railway force actually just standing underneath their own tent and actually not coming out. So I don't know, maybe they were being outnumbered. That was why they passively just watched the entire unfurling of incidences on that attack on the train. Or whether the migrant workers who didn't get a safe passage home were larger in numbers. Because we were not in the location, so it is all very difficult to understand. But even if our people remain where they are, they're not safe. Even if they try to come home, they're not safe. So I don't know what's happening.
All right. We are being joined over the phone right now by Robin Hibu. Robin Hibu, of course, Special Commissioner, Delhi Police. Mr. Hibu, we have had 2 incidents in 2 days of trains being attacked. Don't you think, given the current situation in the country, when hundreds of migrants are still walking home, the railways and the government should have been anticipating this kind of a situation? Mr. Hibu.
You know, they have been doing their best. I cannot comment further. But sometimes this thing had happened, so we immediately came to know, and I somehow reached out to my, batchmate ADGP in charge for the railway in Bihar and UP, and immediately caught all of my batchmates in the railway also. So we chip in, and somehow this was sorted out. Not much damage has been done. Yes, it's very unfortunate, and I know their issues are very larger. It's not only about this incident, but issues that it seems everybody seems to be desperate. Yeah, I also feel perhaps it could have more, train running towards the railways junk part. Perhaps it could have been.
But Mr. Hibu, again, this is probably such a situation where none could be called a criminal. It is just probably the circumstances. And unless the migrants' issue is resolved, probably This will continue. Your views?
Look, certainly, you cannot, it will be wrong to call them not a criminal act. I have a video and all those photographed passengers, they've sent it to me, they've broken the door and plus try to open it forcefully, then even, I think, stone a little bit injury to some of the passengers also. So this is a purely hooliganism, and I've already appraised to the IGP of that railway in charge of the state. So these things should not have been done, and that is something I think we all need to understand. I know that they are coming from far away place from Gurgaon and from Goa and many other parts. So let the train run, and local, I think this can be in the wake-up call, or I could say the introspections for a better, I would say a future planning or for a transportation and so on and so forth, either for both of either railway or even for the state. I feel it in that way.
And do you think the nodal officers of the respective states can do a bit more as far as coordination and security are concerned, Mr. Hebu?
I want to my observation is that perhaps, after discussing with the railway, officers plus some with my top ranking officers, I feel since the train is being hired by the state government, it would, it would be now the onus lies on the state government nodal officers who have been designated by the government. So they can, I feel perhaps they could have more synchronizations, more liaising with state nodal officers and the railway nodal officer who have been earmarked. That order also came out last weeks back, and plan it in a more, this is my personal feeling, or organize it in a better way, brief them properly, have a proper, a briefing and synchronization with the railway police, intimate well in advance. Even halting points could happen. I know they have their own internal railway protocol. In such places, generally in any kind of such distressed situation, advanced planning is very much required. Intelligence gathering of the advanced, we are coming in that space and also in that area, is it everything okay? So all these things, it takes a lot of meticulous advanced planning and full synchronizations, and on the ground, put it on ground. And even we could have, something like even from the passenger side, some of the elders, who are traveling with them could have been made as some kind of in charge, make some WhatsApp group, and they should be told what is the railway helpline. Even when they reach me out, I inform them railway helpline is 139. So these are the basic information we need to inform to the passengers who are coming by the special train. Because the situation is very, very, something very, very stressful, and everybody is rushing. And in such situation, we need to be more careful. And I told my batchmates, even in the police and even in this railway, plus in the railway officers, now we need to have learn lessons. I would say it can be more synchronization, more coordination in the future, so that the rest of the special train coming to the notice can have a more organized, or I would say a better, a hassle-less travel journey to the back home.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Mr. Robin Hebu, for your perspective on that. We have been joined just now from Shillong by Mr. John Kharshing, Chairman, Grand Council of Chiefs. Mr. Kharshing, how bad was the tremor in Shillong? Did you just feel it?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Could you just feel the tremor in Shillong? How bad was the tremor in Shillong?
I can't hear you properly, but anyway, can't hear you properly.
Okay, we'll try and get the line fixed. In the meantime, we'll take a very quick break. Stay tuned. A lot more on the other side. Welcome back. You're watching Bottom Line. We'll go back to Shillong, where we're being joined by Mr. John Kharshing, Chairman, Grand Council of Chiefs. Welcome, Kharshing, to Bottom Line. We all are aware of the incident, the attack on the train yesterday, and reports have come in that yet another train was pelted, stones were pelted upon another train which was Manipur bound. So clearly it's time to heighten the security in the state government. The respective state governments have to play an active role in that, Mr. Kharshing.
Yeah, I think it's first of all, I really sympathize with those all those students, all the migrants who are moving about in the country. But I should say that you know whoever is in charge from the state government and the center, they should look at they should have a proper roadmap before just putting people on the train and sending them across. That especially people of Northeast, we would have to cross from these very populous states, namely UP, namely Bihar, for that matter, even West Bengal. So, this is a major situation where government could have, handled it more properly. Throughout the night, fortunately, there was a group of people from Meghalaya who were coordinating all the way. People from Delhi, from Gurgaon, they were coordinating these people, especially from Delhi and Haryana. There were around 130 of them. Of course, a total of more than 1,000 of them, because some from Assam, from Dimapur, and all over the place. They were supposed to leave on the 22nd. They were supposed to do a screening on 21st, which didn't happen. They were waiting all evening, all afternoon. Mind you, in the heat wave, they're waiting in a stadium in the heat wave,
Yes.
and then finally to be told that it's not happening. These are serious communication gaps that are happening. Uh, I'm just appealing to the state government, to whoever's in charge. There are going to be more. It's not over. There are thousands of people will be moving. We have some students coming from Jaipur tomorrow, and all over the country. So today, this another report on the Goa-Manipur line.
Yes.
This is also, it tells a very poor story of the way the whole thing has been planned. It is common sense. We all know. We've traveled, on the trains. We know how it works. During this time, especially because of the social distancing, one would have thought that it would be proper social distancing, proper checks in the railway platform. So the question is, how did these people get into the platform? That itself is the question. The other question is, why is it so many stops? I'm told that initially it was from point to point, and at best maybe 3 stops. So if it is coming to Northeast, obviously the first stop would have been probably Guwahati, and then going further on to Dimapur, or in between. But the point is, it was stopping at many places along Bihar, which raises a question as who is in charge of the railways? Who's in charge of managing all this? They should have done all this tie-up. At the end of the day, yes, I must give my appreciation to the, 10 governments reacted, but then it was action too late in the day, when people are getting to go truly traumatized. I think you saw in the videos, pelting of
Absolutely.
stones, threatening,
Absolutely.
and things like that.
There are a lot of complications and they need to be addressed. Well, at this moment, Sarah Koniak, our Kohima correspondent, will be joining us shortly. But again, going back to the COVID crisis in the region, if I can go back to Mr. Tapirgaon. Mr. Tapirgaon, एक और जो allegation है, वो सिर्फ आपके against नहीं, but it's against all our elected MPs from the region कि you people are nowhere to be seen during this time of crisis. What do you have to say on this? कहाँ हैं Northeast के MPs? Where are the MPs of the Northeast?
नहीं, आप देखिए, नॉर्थ ईस्ट में आपका गुवाहाटी को छोड़ के आप मिजोरम बोलिए, त्रिपुरा बोलिए, मणिपुर, नागालैंड, अरुणाचल, सिक्किम, मीडिया कवरेज बहुत पोर है. तो अभी MP we are doing our level based COVID. We could contact all the Northeast MPs. They are visiting all the COVID center, medical cares, और जहाँ जितना अभी स्टैंडर्ड citizens and students बाहर से पेशेंट्स वापस आ रहा है, इन लोगों को कोविड सेंटर में रखना, इन लोगों को टेस्ट करना। आज भी मैं जोनाई का सामने में रुकसिन एक सेक गेट है, जहां से 6 डिस्ट्रिक्ट, अरुणाचल प्रदेश का 6 डिस्ट्रिक्ट एंट्री होता है। यहाँ डिस्ट्रिक्ट कलेक्टर्स, एसपीज, एमएलएस के साथ हम लोग आज भी रिव्यू मीटिंग लिया। तो वहाँ का इंटर स्टेट जो एंट्री हो रहा है और इंटर डिस्ट्रिक्ट जो वापस आ रहा है, सारा सबको कैसे सुविधा हो, इन लोग को कैसे चेकिंग करना है और इन लोग का ट्रेवल हिस्ट्री कैसे नोट करना है, हाउ डॉक्टर्स, नर्स एंड मेडिकल स्टाफ्स आर फेसिंग प्रॉब्लम, पुलिस पर्सनल का प्रॉब्लम, डिस्ट्रिक्ट एडमिनिस्ट्रेशंस का इश्यूज, सारा सब हम लोग रिव्यू मीटिंग लेके आज भी पूरा होल डे वी हैड ए मीटिंग इन द असम अरुणाचल बॉर्डर विथ आवर डिस्ट्रिक्ट एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन। तो हर एमपी अपना अपना जगह में ड्यूटी कर रहा है। तो इसको फोकस होने में आप अदर देन योर गुवाहाटी, बाकी स्टेट में तो इस टाइप का फैसिलिटी नहीं है ना, फैसिलिटीज नहीं है। तो इसके लिए वी कैन नॉट ब्लेम ईच एंड एवरी एमएलएस एंड एमपीज of notice कि we are doing our best for the comfort of our people, for the security of
there is
our
no
people.
media focus.
हर कोई सब कर रहा है इसमें।
That's what you are saying. Anyway, Sarah Konyak joins us from Kohima, our Kohima correspondent. Sarah, we believe more stranded people have returned to the state today. How many have returned this evening, Sarah?
From Gurugram, Haryana have returned today early this morning at 10 a.m. and they were directly taken to the Dimapur Agri Expo where screenings were conducted, after which they have been put into the facility quarantine. And we are expecting more returnees in the next few days. As per the reports from the officials, a special train from Rajasthan carrying about 250 passengers from Nagaland, as well as the other northeastern states, is due for departure tomorrow. And in the next 1 to 2 days, another train from Andhra Pradesh is also due with about 100 passengers from Nagaland. And in the next 2 to 3 days, a full-packed special train from Bangalore with Nagaland, stranded Nagaland citizens from Bangalore is expected to depart from in the next 3 days. Nabarun.
Sarah, we have had 3 fresh cases in Nagaland. The people who traveled with them along with those cases, have all their results come, or we are still awaiting some results of the samples to come out?
Yes, the surveillance units, all surveillance units are actively working. They have intensified their surveillance activities, and contact tracing began this early morning from 7 a.m. and it is actively underway even now. A total of 265 test samples have been sent today for testing, and results are awaited of 285. So we are still waiting for more than 200 results. And as per the update that we have received, 3 more suspect cases have been reported, but they have been shifted to the COVID-19 isolation wards. That is the latest update that we have as of now, Nabarun.
And Sarah, my last question to you: the testing facility in Nagaland is also has also been made operational. What is the testing capacity right now?
Yes, the Chief Minister just a few days back on the 21st of May inaugurated the first ever biosafety laboratory level 3 in Naga Hospital, Kohima. And as we were told, the capacity of per day, the test that can be done is up to 90. And the medical department have confirmed that they have stopped sending the samples for testing in Assam and Manipur. So all the tests are being done here in the state, and the BSL level 2 laboratory in Dimapur is also under progress and is expected to be operational very soon.
Thank you, Sarah Konyak, for all those updates. If I can go back to Ampareen Lingdo in Shillong. Ampareen Lingdo, coming back to the state, Meghalaya again now has said that if certain localities want to put people into community quarantine, the government will support that. At the same time, the government is also considering an initial phase of quarantine, maybe not confirmed. But don't you think, taking a cue from Assam and Manipur, Meghalaya should go for compulsory 7-day quarantine at least Northeast, because everybody in the Northeast is doing so, and they are doing so because returnees are testing positive.
See, the very fact that people who are coming back in are tested, and by the third day they are sent back home to this so-called community quarantine centers. We have just heard some stories from one or two other community centers that are anyways functioning here in different parts of the state. And we are told that it is not an easy task to community quarantine people who have just come out from an already very difficult ordeal. Firstly, we are not at all qualified. I don't know how the community can take the responsibility and say that, yes, we will start this community center. You cannot start a community center because it's a very technical thing. Number two, the false negative results that are coming, as we have seen in other states, shortly turned positive. So what's happening in the state of Meghalaya is that the government is sending individuals back home. One has to remember very clearly that loved ones who have been away from home for a very long time are being thought of and are being, it's a worrisome for families. But to just send an individual after 3 days of testing and then say, no, everything is all right, this person will be fine, let him go to the home, is something else. Most of our homes don't have additional rooms. Most of the homes share common toilets. Most of the rooms have minors, senior citizen, ailing residents in their homes. So it's a very confused situation, and it is very worrisome. This is the time that we're seeing how it has played on states in the Northeast, especially in Assam and in other neighboring states, where a state that was actually COVID-free has suddenly come face to face with this problem. So I feel that the government of Meghalaya should not take it very lightly. Should not even send people back. And yes, because they're sending people back to their homes for home quarantine, we are of the impression that preparations were not done because of that.
All right, John Karshing, you just heard Amparin Lingdo there. Probably there is still time. Probably Meghalaya can still put people in institutional quarantine. Seeing the spurt in cases in states like Assam and Manipur. What's your view? Very quickly, John Karshing.
Yes, you see, actually, one should remember that initially the government was not considering, the quarantine, institutional quarantine, and was just testing them at the border points and then, sending them home and taking these those reading positive. So I would feel that, and given that scenario where government was hesitant to, take all these people who are coming in mandatorily into quarantine, that is what caused us to, and various groups, to understand that, okay, if the government is helpless and not in a position to do it, this is how the traditional institutions came forward and said, okay, let us do something on our own. If the government can't do it, let's do it. So that's how it has happened. And you remember the Deputy Chief Minister saying that, in his press brief, one of his daily press briefings, said, okay, now we are very indirectly saying that, okay, we leave it to you, the community, how you want to put it. So I think at this stage, what we have to remember is we have to take all precautions. Since the government openly admitted that we have no space, we have only 1,000 seats. I don't know whether they actually did a proper homework on the availability of this, of these places to quarantine them. We have one of the largest base of central government offices here. We have the we have a large number of universities. So I think there should have been a proper planning on this.
Absolutely.
Government should have been able to.
Absolutely. If I can go to Tapirgao again, Mr. Tapirgao, how do you rate the preparedness? The preparedness in Arunachal Pradesh, why? Well, it's a BJP government in the state, but why I'm asking you this question, you despite being a BJP MP, is because you have been vocal. You have been vocal. You have also, आपने BJP को भी criticize किया है when the need arises, especially when it came to issues of national security. So how do you rate the preparedness as far as the frontier state of Arunachal Pradesh is concerned in this pandemic?
देखिए ये अपना बीजेपी को क्रिटिसाइज करने का बात नहीं है. व्हेन द इश्यूज ऑफ नेशनल इंटरेस्ट, तो हम नेशनल इंटरेस्ट का मुद्दा में बोलना पड़ेगा. जैसे आज व्हेन वी आर टॉक ऑफ एसेंशियल कमोडिटीज टू द इंटीरियर प्लेसेस ऑफ अरुणाचल प्रदेश, नॉट ओनली इन अरुणाचल प्रदेश, मोस्ट ऑफ द हिली स्टेट्स दे हैव गॉट डिफिकल्टीज. लेकिन जहां तक मैं हर district collectors, SPs and अपना party workers, all the honorable MLAs, सारा सबका PDS items और essential commodities, आपका पेट्रोल, डीजल, राइस, वेजिटेबल्स कैसा क्या हो, इसका मैं हमेशा खबर लेता हूँ. तो आज तक हमारा सरकार पेमा खांडू का लीडरशिप में एवरी डे वी आर मॉनिटरिंग ईच अदर, कहाँ कमी है, कहाँ रेशन शॉर्टेज है. तो इसलिए अभी एसेंशियल कमोडिटीज का कहीं शॉर्टेज नहीं होगा. अरुणाचल प्रदेश में दूर दराज इलाका में इवन हेलीकॉप्टर से भी रेशन पहुंचा के स्टोर करके रखा है. जितना लॉकडाउन है इतना लॉकडाउन में भी सफिशिएंट रेशन, पानी, सारा एसेंशियल कमोडिटीज अवेलेबल है. तो अभी फिलहाल इंटर स्टेट ट्रांसपोर्टेशन, गुड्स, एसेंशियल कमोडिटीज मूवमेंट भी फ्री कर दिया है. तो इसलिए अरुणाचल में कहीं कुछ प्रॉब्लम नहीं होना चाहिए. और अभी हेवी रेन हो रहा है, इस रेनी का वजह से समवेयर वी हैव गॉट ब्लॉकेट्स ऑफ रोड. इसके लिए आने वाला दिन में कैसे होगा, but our government is ready to face it. We have got helicopter service. We have got all the modalities. यहाँ ब्लॉक होने से कैसे होगा उसके लिए हेलीकॉप्टर से जाएंगे. जहाँ रोड ओपन है उसमें essential commodities.
We have a breaking news coming in. We have a breaking news coming in. 12 more cases reported in Assam. 12 more cases reported in Assam. 9 from Lakhimpur, 3 from Sivsagar. This takes the total number of cases to 526. Active cases have gone up to 457. So 12 more cases reported. That makes it 134 cases for the day. 134 cases reported for the day so far. The day is still not over. There's the biggest single day spike, biggest single day rise in cases. There you have 12 new cases, 9 from Lakhimpur, 3 from Sivsagar. Total cases 526. Active cases 457. The information came barely minutes ago. Assam Health Minister Himanta Biswa Sharma breaking the news on Twitter, on social media. So biggest single day spike in Assam here, 134 cases, and maybe we are still counting. The total cases now are 526. Active cases have risen to 457. Numbers are clearly rising in Assam. 134 today. It's well over 350. It's close to 400 cases in the last 5 days. If we take those numbers, that is whooping to say the least. Well, I'm now being joined by Mr. P. Parthiban, Health Secretary, Arunachal Pradesh. Welcome to Bottom Line, Mr. Parthiban. Well, fresh case in Arunachal was reported yesterday, and with stranded people returning, the numbers may rise. Is the state ready for the challenge?
Yeah, we are ready for the challenge, and as you said, categorically, there are a lot of incoming people. Like we have a list of nearly some 12,000 people's list who wants to come into Arunachal Pradesh, and till now we have received nearly some 4,000 plus people into Arunachal Pradesh, and in the coming days we have more number of people coming into Arunachal Pradesh, and the present positive case also is from a person who has come from outside. Yeah,
Yeah,
please.
yeah, yeah. Go ahead. I can hear you.
Yes, please.
Go ahead.
Hello.
I can.
Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead, Mr. Parthiban.
Yeah. We presently we have got one positive case. Yesterday it has been detected. A person has been detected, and this person has also yes come from Delhi. So we are having people more number of people coming inside Arunachal Pradesh. So we are expecting more number of cases to come up now. But we are sure our surveillance and our screening will help us to detect the cases.
As you just mentioned, close to 12,000 have registered and 4,000 have come. So technically, we are looking at say another 6 to 7,000 coming in. That's not a mighty challenge if you compare with other neighboring states in the region.
Yeah, compared to any big states, even compared to our neighbor Assam, I think we have a very few numbers. 11,000 is not a big numbers, and that's one of the reason why we have choose whoever comes into Arunachal Pradesh, they will be all tested. So basically, based on these few numbers, we have taken this decision, and we have devised our SOP also based on these numbers.
And
And we are prepared for that.
what is the capacity of the quarantine centers at the state at the moment? How many people can the state accommodate at one point in time, since you have decided to put everyone on compulsory facility quarantine?
So one thing I want to point out is we have a quarantine facilities which is distributed all around Arunachal Pradesh. All the districts we have we have taken many facilities on paid quarantine, on free quarantine. We have made facilities. Example, like in a district like Papumpare, we have a capacity of nearly some 1,000 plus, and which we can increase it more at any time, including Itanagar. So similarly, every district Pasighat, it has something nearer to 700, 800 people. So all the districts we have a quarantine facilities, it ranges per district like Lohit, they have some 4 5 facilities. So depending on the numbers which is expected for incoming, we have developed our quarantine facilities, and today in Arunachal we have more than nearly some 10,000 quarantine beds in the quarantine facilities.
Thank you so much, Mr. Parthiban, for joining us. John Kharshing, a state like Arunachal Pradesh, they have at the moment space for 10,000 people in facility quarantine. Manipur has a similar figure in place. Assam has a far larger number. Why do you think Meghalaya didn't do it or couldn't do it? Very quickly.
Well, for the simple reason is that, had they looked at district-wise, what I'm hearing from Arunachal is that they have, gone to the micro level based on, and identifying who are the returnees, which district, and build the capacity there. So if we do that, we can comfortably handle this. Ribhoi district itself has so many colleges and, universities that could have been used. Similarly in other districts. But by and large, Nabrun, the startling fact is that the whole country is seeing this for the first time. Around 37 lakh migrants, as per the official statement by the government, 37 lakh migrants have been moved by around 2,800 trains, these Shamik trains. And probably it'll be for another occasion to discuss as to why a majority of these migrants are from have returned from Gujarat, Maharashtra, and Punjab. That's for another matter. But coming back to your question, Meghalaya could easily do it. Could have easily done it. The districts are there. You have the district infrastructure, and they could have provided all the inputs.
Could have
and government
easily
could have
done
built-
it. Could have easily done it, but it did not happen. Amparin Lingdo, do you think even though there has been no spike in cases in Meghalaya, unlike in Assam and Manipur when people return, there is still time maybe for the government to rethink its strategy going forward and probably decide to come up with facility quarantine? Of course, I'm sure the government must have thought that as of now they can do with home quarantine and probably the limited facility quarantine. But do you think there is still time if the government decides to shift its strategy?
See, it is very late for any government in any part of this country to say that, okay, now we shall start thinking. They had all this period, all this time to actually anticipate this kind of a scenario. Because we are telling our people, we are providing transportation for you, come back home. Now you don't ask individuals to come back home and then leave them to this kind of a nightmare again. I myself have received frantic calls from several families where they frantically told me that please, we love our child, but that child is safer in a quarantine center than to come to our homes and to our immediate families. Because if anything should go wrong, stigmatization will follow. So it is a very crazy situation. I don't know why we are not taking adequate care to ensure that this community contact is controlled to the furthest extent possible.
Absolutely, absolutely. John Kharshing, some relevant points made there. As a part of the traditional heads, do you think, the government has allowed for community quarantines, but do you think the government may, if God forbid there are 2-3 more cases, the government may also decide to go for a compulsory facility quarantine for all the returnees? Last words.
I've been saying from day one, government should take charge of the whole quarantine process. But government kept saying that we have only 1,000 beds, 1,000 capacity in the city. But they should have looked further beyond. The people who came day before yesterday now have been moved to the districts. So I'm hoping that they do a quick review, because we've got another 7,000 people or 6,000 people yet to come in. Or they can stagger the returnees. Make arrangements so that you build some space. But they could have sought the paramilitary, the army, the paramilitary forces are here. They could have helped in building that, institutional quarantine area. It could have easily been done. I don't know why the government has not thought of shifting.
Absolutely, I'm sure the government has a plan in mind. Thank you so much, John Kharshing. Thank you so much, Tapirgao, Amparin Lingdo, for joining me on Bottom Line. That's a wrap of this show.